how to buy Bitcoin in 2020. I made a video about buying Bitcoin a while ago and it was quite popular, and I thought I would add an update with some new KYC and non-KYC options. So if you want to see what options you have for buying Bitcoin, either from an exchange, peer-to-peer, or maybe with some vouchers, then watch till the end of the video. And I also include some options for buying Bitcoin without ID, without KYC. So very exciting, especially now since we've had a very big discount. Price of Bitcoin dropped, and many people that have been waiting on the sidelines, including you, might be finding this a very good opportunity to buy some Bitcoin, but you're still wondering how you can do it and what are your best options. So follow along on this video and I'll show you some tips and tricks, questions you have to ask yourself before venturing into the crypto space. So let's get started. Now, there are some important questions you have to ask yourself before you start buying Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. So the first important one is, where are you located? Which country you live in? Because depending on where you live, you have different payment options. You have different exchanges at your disposal. Furthermore, how much are you looking to buy? Do you want to buy a small sum to maybe experiment something in the area of maybe $50, $200? Do you want to invest maybe a little bit more in a 4 or 5 digit amount, or if you want to like invest a very large sum. And depending on how much you want to buy, I think it's very important to choose the correct exchange, because with large amounts, the trading fees are crucial, and it's very important if you want to buy large amounts that you maybe go over the counter OTC options because they've got much lower trading fees. But if you're just buying like small amounts, maybe $50, $100, then it doesn't matter too much, especially if you're just trying out, finding out how Bitcoin works and maybe just experimenting a little bit. So furthermore, an important question to ask is, how soon do you need the Bitcoin? Because depending on which options that you choose, your Bitcoin will be locked up maybe for a few days or a week before you can send it to an external wallet. Something that you have to keep in mind, especially if you want to maybe buy something with Bitcoin, you have to make sure that you consider what the lockup times are. And the last step is financial privacy important to you? So many exchanges have the KYC, AML regulations, and that is capped to a certain amount. Some exchanges don't even let you buy any amount of Bitcoin without KYC, and some maybe allow you to buy 50 or 500 US dollars worth of Bitcoin without KYC. Now, I think what you need to consider when considering privacy is, how much is privacy worth? It's not, let's rephrase that. The important thing with the privacy and exchanges is, if you go with a KYC and AML regulated exchange where you have to supply ID and so on, very often the exchange fees and trading fees there are going to be much, much lower than if you go with another option where you don't have to supply any KYC. So maybe if you're doing peer-to-peer with vouchers, the trading fees, buying fees for those options are going to be a lot higher. So depending on how much you value your privacy, you want to go with the KYC option or the no KYC option. But the no KYC option is definitely going to be a lot more expensive, a few percentage more expensive than the KYC option. So if you're still new to the whole cryptocurrency space, you want to find out maybe what are the best exchanges, I'd highly recommend going to exchange.war.info. There you can see a lot of information about, first of all, the different exchanges that exist, what kind of cryptocurrencies they support. The maker and taker fee from the different exchanges. You can compare those, and you can also see what kind of payment options are available. Is fiat available or not? Can you pay with credit card, debit card, and so on? So exchange.war.info, very good resource for finding which exchanges are available in your country. Now, me personally, I like to go with some very well-known exchanges, and my top picks for those, they are KYC exchanges, are Kraken, Bitstamp, Bitpanda, and Coinbase. and Kraken and Bitstamp and Coinbase are good options for US citizens, and Bitpanda, Kraken and Bitstamp also good options, as well as Coinbase are good options for Europeans. Now let's go over to physical locations where you can buy Bitcoin. With coin@mreda.com, you can find different ATMs that offer, some of them offer no KYC options up to a certain amount. Some of them you need a KYC identification or maybe a mobile phone and get a SMS verification to confirm your identity. You've got yap.cx, which accepts cash in Montreal, Quebec. You've got Fast Bitcoins, you've got the Rise wallet, which also accepts cash. You've got Flexipin, debit card or cash, and you've got Bitit, which accepts Neosurf. And Neosurf is like a voucher. You can go over to the Neosurf website and many different locations. You can buy this Neosurf gift card, and you load up this gift card at different points of sales. You can find maybe one in your location. You can click up here where to find Neosurf, and then you can buy this Neosurf card. Very often you do not have to pay, you do not need to register or provide an ID, ask for Neosurf and pay with cash, and you receive a receipt. So you can, then the third option is when you pay online, just enter your 10-character Neosurf code. It is not linked to any personal information or your bank account, and the remaining balance after you purchase is always transferable to another Neosurf voucher up to a maximum of €250. I'm not 100% sure what the limits are, how much you can buy, but you can always go back to another location and buy another Neosurf card. And then when you've got this Neosurf card, you can go over to bit.it.io, and then you can buy a Bitcoin using the payment option Neosurf. So if you scroll down here, and you can see you can add a cash voucher, and Neosurf is accepted. So this is one option to buy Bitcoin without ID or KYC verification. I also found a very interesting list of physical stores where you can buy Bitcoin. A user called Cointastical made this very fantastic list of locations, and many other Reddit users, they added further locations. So I'll link this down below if you're interested. And there are a number of foreign currency exchanges and other places where there's a storefront branch and an actual teller or other staff where you can walk up and do a Bitcoin buy or sell. But I don't think there's ever been a list. And here's the list with the physical stores and trading spaces. Now, with these stores, I do not know if they're good or not. I also do not know what kind of fees they charge. And I also do not know if they accept KYC or no KYC options. So I think you have to look around to see which stores are available in your area, and you can maybe go over there and see if you can or have the option of buying some Bitcoin without identification. So in Europe, Middle East and Africa, you've got quite a few stores. Bitcoin, House of Nakamoto, Ibex, Compro Euros, Le Comptoir de Cybermoney. In North America, you've also got a few options, Luxolo, CryptoSpace. I won't go through all of them, but it's very interesting. Asia Pacific, you've got Bitcoin dealers, and this is also a very good option for people living in Australia. Now for vouchers and retail, the US, UK, Brazil and India have adstead.co. You've got Fast Bitcoins, LibertyX. So a lot of options. You can go through them and see which ones work for you, work for the location where you're living. And I'll link this Reddit post down below in the description, so you can go through that in peace and maybe find some good place to buy some Bitcoin. Now, I want to go back quick to the fees. Just keep in mind, these options is probably going to be a lot higher than if you're using Coinbase, Kraken, Bitpanda or Bitstamp, because these stores act as a middleman, and they're probably buying the Bitcoin over another exchange. So they're going to have the exchange's fees, and they're going to add their own fees. So maybe you're going to be paying maybe 5, 10 or 15% more than the actual Bitcoin price. That's something that you have to be aware of. Well, that's also what I said at the beginning. If you're choosing a no KYC option, you're going to have a lot higher fees. And some people justify that because they value their privacy a lot more than being able to buy Bitcoin for a cheap price, but having to give up their identity. So yeah, that was it for this video. I hope you found this interesting. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to leave them down in the comments below. And yeah, if you've also got any additions, you know, some places where you can buy a BTC without KYC, then also leave them in the comments below. And if you've got any suggestions of what kind of videos you'd like me to create, then leave them in the comments below, and I'll gladly make a video about that, because I want to provide value to I want to provide valuable content that you find interesting, and that will only work if you give me some ideas on what to create. So yeah. Thanks a lot for watching. I wish you a wonderful start in the week. I hope you don't get infected by Corona. Stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.